Join me for a trip in the ocean as we discuss the Dell XPS 9530, Dell's premium 15-inch laptop designed for your everyday working man and woman. The only thing more awesome than aquatic sea life is the hat box that Dell supplies with the computer. Hey everyone, welcome to the Realist channel on YouTube, where we give you straight facts about a product, no fluff, no sponsorships, no BS. If you want to figure out if a product is worth having and buying, please hit that like and subscribe button for a multitude of products that we review on this channel. Anyway, moving right along. The Dell XPS has always been Dell's flagship machine. The XPS name has always been indicative of their top-of-the-line models. Until they bought Alienware and then sort of shoved the XPS behind the G line and then the Alienware line. That said, though, the XPS has remained sort of like Dell's ThinkPad lineup in Lenovo. It's kind of your everyday businessman and woman's machine. It's built a little stronger, with a little bit more perks and features, and just all around a slightly better computer for those that are a little bit more serious. Anyway, in comes the newest XPS, the 9530. This particular model is 15 inches. Comes with 1 terabyte NVMe solid state drive, which is user upgradable. Comes with 32 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM, which is also user upgradable to 64 gigabytes. Comes with the 13th generation i7 processor. And I think that's pretty much about all in terms of the specs. You can get these with an NVIDIA card, but this one comes with the Intel Arc. Another small interjection regarding Intel's Arc. When you compare it to something like NVIDIA or AMD, you do get a little more bang for your buck with the Intel Arc processors. Now with this machine, I wouldn't exactly call it a gaming rig. However, you certainly could play some like Minecraft, Roblox, and even RDR2 on some mild settings on this thing. It's definitely not meant for high settings and any kind of like AAA titles, but the Intel Arc certainly performs very respectively. And for that matter, when you do things like video editing on it, I think that you could get away with like 1080p, probably even RAW, and then maybe even eke inside of like 4K highly compressed and do like fairly well with videos like shorter than about like 10 minutes or so. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on that. But don't let that fool you, the performance on this thing is still pretty outstanding. So I think no matter what you throw at it, I think that you will find it will dance around it with grace and poise. Anyway, the LCD screen on this thing is a 15.6 inch full FHD+, full high definition, 500 nit non-glare, non-touch screen. Now you can change the display choices on here. However, we have found that the default display is actually quite fantastic. 500 nits is a huge amount of brightness, which will allow you to work underneath the glaring lights of an office, outside in the sunlight, at a coffee cafe, and is coffee and cafe? That's the same thing. Near a bright window or something if you so choose. Again, it's non-touch, but it does offer just a beautiful amount of brightness, color. The whites are white, the blacks are black. It's just crisp. It is very pleasant to look at and not fatiguing on the eyes. Also with fantastic viewing angles. Keyboard on it is also a knockout home run, with one exception. It doesn't have a numpad on the right side, which is a little bit of a curious choice considering the fact that these computers are sort of tailor-made for professionals. You'd think that people that do like a lot of data entry, accountants, database engineers, they would want the numpad on the right side, but Dell decided you to that and decided not to put it on there. They are bringing it back on the Dell Inspiron 16 line, so I have a feeling that the newer versions of the XPS might have them again. That said, the keys are super, super big. They're super, super tactile. They're black keycaps with white font on them, so they're easy to see, they're easy to press, you won't make a lot of typos. Ultimately, they're just awesome, awesome keys. You also have a Windows Hello compatible fingerprint reader, as well as a Windows Hello compatible camera on the front. I do want to briefly comment on the camera quality on this machine. While it is a Windows Hello compatible camera, it is a 720p camera, and honestly does not do a very good job at like exposing and setting ISO, etc. Here's an example of what the quality looks like on the camera. You can see it for yourself, but honestly, I was pretty disappointed considering the price bracket of this machine. Oh, and considering we also just tested an Inspiron 14 where the camera quality was fantastic, it's kind of like, Dell, come on, come on. This is a test of the atrocious camera quality on the Dell XPS 9530. It's 720p, even though 1080p should be the standard in pretty much all webcams these days. And even though it's a Windows Hello compatible camera, this is
It's no good.
And while we're on the subject of features, you also get Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth on this thing. So you really can't ask for anything more. It has all of the security stuff on there. It's got pretty much everything you need. Trackpad on it is huge. It's huge.
Huge.
It's kind of like that from like a MacBook Pro, really. And it is super precise, and it doesn't ghost too badly. Actually, really doesn't ghost at all. Multi-gesture, all that stuff. And we have found that the spring in it, which Dell is not known for. Dell is known for putting very, very tight springs in their trackpads. And in this case, they've seemed to kind of loosen it up slightly. It just has a much more comfortable press on it. And I really hope that Dell translates that to their other computers here in the near future. Speakers on it are also fantastic. I would say arguably a 4 out of 5. Honestly, I was going into this review thinking that the speakers on this thing were going to stink, but no, they're because XPSs in the past have had really crappy speakers. But no, in my typical theory where if you advertise speakers and they're no good, the Dell XPS doesn't advertise any kind of crazy audio speakers, so the speakers are fantastic. They are full-bodied, lots and lots and lots of volume. They get actually like scarily loud. Good lows, good mids, decent high, well, actually I would say decent lows, good mids, and solid highs with very little distortion as it crosses the band throughout. So ultimately you can use this computer for things like audio engineering purposes, not for mastering of course, but you know, using it as sort of like a, what's the word I'm looking for, just as you're auditing the sound, previewing it, whatever, you get the idea. Audio engineers are gonna laugh at me. Anyway, you can also use this thing for listening to podcasts, music on the go. Certainly if you're doing any kind of casual gaming, speakers on this thing will be just fine. Watching a movie, which by the way, watching a movie on this thing will be outstanding because like great viewing angles and it's bright. This is the kind of laptop you can slap down in your dorm room and you and your friends can just kind of circle around it and look right at it. Which, speaking of, who is this computer for? Well, I think a college student would actually find a pretty good place with this computer. First off, it's built exceptionally well. You've got the little carbon fiber weave on the palm rest here. XPSs have had that for years. You've got the nice metal lid, nice metal hinges that are nice, super and tight. It's like not super heavy. I wouldn't say it's not like an LG Gram, but it's good feeling in the hands. This is the kind of computer that can absolutely take a beating. So whether you're a college student, a traveler, journalist, something like that, this thing you're gonna be able to throw into a backpack, knock it all around, take it out, and it's gonna have no problems firing back up whatsoever. I'd also say this is probably for like photographers on location because the fantastic screen that you can use on the outside. Maybe not video editors. I mean, like I'm still like a little leery in suggesting people use this for like 4K editing or something like that, but it's getting to the point where these Intel Arc GPUs are capable of doing so. In terms of I/O on it, you've got full-size camera card reader on this side, TRRRS jack, USB-C. And then on this side, you've got Kensington lock because everybody uses Kensington lock. And then finish that off with 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports. All is to say, oh, well, that you can, of course, charge. By the way, you can charge the computer on any port, and they do give you a Type-C USB-C charger, which is awesome. But all is to, well, you gotta charge it, because it doesn't run on solar energy. But anyway, the Thunderbolt 4 is fantastic because you can daisy chain things like displays, storage, charging it. Love that. What it's missing is an HDMI port. Obviously, you can get a dongle if you want to do that. They're taking a little like page out of Apple's book. It's missing an Ethernet port, which honestly, that's not that big of a deal these days, and a lot of laptops don't have that. I guess I would have just liked to see maybe an HDMI. Again, for a computer that's going to be used by professionals, college students, you should offer something that can like throw up on a projector. But they didn't, so I don't know. I/O on it's like 4 out of 5. By the way, keyboard is backlit as well. I should have mentioned that already in the keyboard section of the video, but you know. Anyway, moving along. I'm a big fan of this Dell XPS. I think that it is a fantastic computer. I was really going into this review expecting to dislike this machine because of what it costs. You probably will not be able to find one of these shy of $1,000. And to me, that is not great value when you compare it to, like, let's say the Inspiron 16. However, when you compare it to the likes of the Lenovo ThinkPad, and you take into account the quality of materials, the pedigree, the ease of service, again, the fact that you can upgrade the RAM, the NVMe, all that stuff on your own. If the display breaks, you've got a bezel that comes off. You can easily replace the display. And you have an 18-hour advertised battery from Dell when you pair it with that FHD screen, but I promise you, you will not get that. In reality, you'll get somewhere probably around the 13 to 14-hour range in terms of like practical usage. Dell always gives like the most optimal examples whenever they're testing their battery life. Bless their hearts. Anyway, that's the XPS 9530 in a nutshell. Fantastic little computer, if not just a little bit expensive. Do I recommend it? Yes, it's blazing fast. Well built, good quality. Just make sure you update your BIOS and drivers and stuff like that when you first get it. You can use the Support Assist software that comes with every Dell. If you have any questions on it, feel free to reach out to us in the comments section. Please like and subscribe. Join us on Patreon, and we'll be back with another video really soon.